Hello, good evening and welcome to Race Club fans for a bit of a one-off race tonight. This is our pre-season race before we kick off season 6, which is going to start next Tuesday. So this week we've got a bit of a special for you. We're in the south of France at the Paul Ricard circuit, and we have the Lambo Super Trofeo Championship cars, so everybody's in the same vehicle. Or possibly lack of it. We will find out in a little while. And the qualifying, we've got just a minute to go. And as we can see, quite a lot of the cars haven't actually got a lap in as yet. So let's see who's out there. We're on with Marge at the moment, so he will be starting his lap. He's in pole position. Banff is second. We're expecting drivers like Chicken Paxo, who looked like he was outside the lines, like you used to get in trouble at school. If you don't keep your colour in between the lines, you'll look like Chicken Paxo was possibly outside the lines there. But it looks like with 25 seconds to go, he might just get back to the start-finish line to start another lap. We've got a driver stuck there on the corner circuit. Can't quite see who it is. No, we're out of time. So if Chicken Paxo doesn't get a time in this time, that's it. He is going to be starting from way down the grid there in 9th. So coming up to the line, did he keep it in between the lines? Yes, he did, and he gets the sweetie for pole position. 2 minutes 1 second, 0.5. Absolutely flying there. So who's coming through next? That looks like possibly Rusty GT. I'm right, coming up to the line. Rusty GT third, leading the second row. Fantastic result there. Okay, who's coming through next? That looks like, I think, car 20. Yes, there we go. That's Donardi heading for the line. Closely followed by, so Donardi stays second. I'm not sure who that was behind them, but that was their final lap. And then in comes DB Kung. Marge has crossed the line, so he's not been able to put a time in, so he's going to start 8th. So DB Kung has crossed the line, he's going to start in 6th. And who else have we got back there? Another single number, I think that might be Bazux. Oh, and look at that lovely gold livery. Fantastic stuff. Here he goes up to the finishing line. Last but one car on track. And here goes pole by 0.027 of a second. Chicken Paxo thought he had his hands on the sweetie, but Bazux stamped on his fingers and took it away. So here we go. Last we got is Baba Yaga. And I think I'm just going to stick with Baba tonight. He's coming around to complete a lap. He has put a time in so far. And he's returning to the pits. Okay, so we've got a new feature for you tonight. We are going to try and have a driver interview with one of the top 2 drivers. So let's just see. Bear with us. We're going to go a little bit blue screen for a moment. But we will be with you shortly. Hello, Chicken Paxo, are you there? Good evening. Sorry, I can't get hold of Bazux, so I'm afraid you're going to have to be second best for us for tonight.
I used that after last season.
Well, last season, season 5 of Race Club, you were doing fantastically well right until the last round.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say I came unstuck over the mountain on more than one occasion.
Yeah, I do remember there was a certain element of pinball going on, but that's a season gone, so let's not worry about that. How are you getting on with these Lambos around this quite sort of twisty in places Paul Ricard circuit?
They're a bit of a handful, but you can just about tame them a bit. Hoping after we did the last week's race at Bathurst that the slipstream will be fairly decent, but we'll find out as the race goes on.
Okay, any particular tactics you're thinking of? Obviously, with only a 20-minute race, this is going to be, I imagine, lights to flag.
Yeah, basically go faster than the other bloke. So that's kind of the plan, really. But we'll see how that works out. Hopefully, no more pinball action.
Well, I think that's the sort of technique. Maybe we need to get hold of Christian Horner because, you know, maybe this is something he needs to be sort of talking to his drivers about.
Possibly. I couldn't possibly comment.
Well, thanks for your time there, Chicken Paxo, and best of luck. And you'll be there in the red and yellow Lambo that's currently sat on the front row. So best of luck.
Thank you very much. Speak to you later.
Okay, fans, we are back looking at the grid. We've got just a minute to go. Unfortunately, we've got a slight glitch because of my inability to press all the right buttons there. But we'll get over it in a moment when we come round to the start line. Just to remind you, we're at Paul Ricard. This is a circuit with an amazing number of layouts. I think it's a circuit that's been around, I believe, since about the 60s. And it was actually, I believe, still owned by Bernie Eccleston. Now, of course, that's got no relation whatsoever to the fact that there is a Grand Prix happening down at Paul Ricard over the last few years. It may be really just a facility to top up a pension fund. So here we go. Oh, we've got a couple of other drivers just joining the audio party. So, which is good news because whoever wins, hopefully we can have a chat with them after the race. So if you just bear with me a second, we're just going to go blue screen for a second. I'm just going to have to sort out to make sure we don't get any feedback from the other drivers in the chat. Because I'm sure you only want to hear from me. So here we go, we're off on the warm-up lap. Now, we're using the layout of the circuit, which is virtually the Formula 1 Grand Prix track. So the only change being there is no chicane down the straight, so there's fantastic opportunity for slipstreaming down that long straight towards the Mistral corner, which usually provides some quite good entertainment, especially in these shorter sprint races, because apart from that corner there isn't anywhere that obvious to be able to overtake, because the rest of this circuit is, as you can see on screen, quite tight and twisty. Unlike Bathurst, where we finished off season 5 of Race Club, we've not got a problem here with walls right along the edge of the track. As you can see, you have to go quite a long way before you actually hit anything. So here we go, drivers coming out onto the Mistral straight. Very convenient access, this circuit, for drivers coming to and from it, because there is a airport right alongside. Chicken Paxo there in the yellow and red 95, deciding that the cones are in the way, so he's firing them off. I don't know whether the stewards are going to have a word about that. Chicken Paxo being one that actually runs this series, and there's always noting to people to drive in a responsible way as though it is a proper race. So I'm not quite sure where that's that logic was gone tonight. It's probably because it's a pre-season race, so all bets are off, I imagine. No, maybe not. Here we go. There go the rest of the cones. So everybody just trying to get a bit of heat into those tyres. You can see the massive length of this straight. And then interestingly, it's not really a jump on the brakes kind of corner at the end. It's still really quick corner at the end. And then after that, it's, rather than being like a modern Formula 1 stamp on the brakes 90-degree corner, you've got ever decreasing radius corners coming up. So they're just exiting the right hand at the end of the straight. Now this corner here, which anyone watching the Formula 1 recently would have seen Charles Leclerc run out of talent on this particular corner. This one just gradually tightens up on you. Starts off quite quick, like maybe third, fourth gear, and you're down to second by the exit where they're coming out now. and that is a feature of the corners on this circuit. So as drivers getting in line there, you see Bazix on the inside in the gold livery car. I don't know if that's a reflection of his championship win in season 5. And then the car we're looking at there, which is Chicken Paxo. And then behind in row 2 we have Rusty GT and Donardi. I'm just running my eyes down as to just while they're getting their orders sorted out, because the way the timing screen is going, it's not necessarily how they are lined up on track. And obviously a couple of cars at the back didn't get the lap time in. So here we go, the start on this one is quite a little way down the straight, so they have got a few seconds to get themselves organised, and I'm going to get myself organised just after the start so I can get a better view. So here we go, down to the first corner. So Bazix takes the lead. Chicken Paxo sweeps across to cover the inside line for the first corner, and that looks like Donardi trying to come round the outside. Somebody diving down the inside there. I'm not sure if there was contact in the back. Simo has already picked up a drive through, and we've got a spinner towards the back. I'm not sure that Chris V Dub's gone a little bit wide there. Not sure who else was off. And Simo there, he's just a little bit behind at the moment. So and Baba is still in the pit. So let's go back to the front. So we've got Bazix in the lead with Chicken Paxo just behind. Don't worry about the timing screens being a little bit doolally at the moment. They will catch up with us any second now. So through goes Bazix, and through those little twisty bits as we came onto the trail straight, it looks like Bazix did manage to pick, and Paxo is picking up behind him. And Babagaya has left the pit, so we do have all 10 cars on the track. Side as they go round the right-hander, and it looks like Bazix ran a bit wide. It looks like the background like Donardi ran a bit wide, and Bazix is trying to go right round the inside. Did he get a little bit of a tap there from Chicken Paxo? It's all looking a little bit nip and tuck as to who is going to get it through there, and it's Chicken Paxo with Bazix right behind, and Donardi coming up quickly to join the party. So this is all looking good for a very competitive race. So we just got Bamford's just dropped off the back of the leading pack, so that may have been him that had the trouble we saw in the first right-hander. So, and that looked like Bazix running a bit wide on the exit. It means the car will be bouncing up and down, and it means that Bazix has possibly got a run down to the first corner. Bazix going a little bit defensive, Chicken Paxo going a little bit defensive there. Simo's nipped into the pits. Oh, and that looked like Chicken Paxo was extremely sideways there. But he managed to gather it all up. But that's pushed Bazix back into the hands of Donardi. So here they go. Down to the right-left chicane. In the background, Rusty GT, a driver who we saw come on in leaps and bounds during Season 5 of Race Club. He is hanging on to the back of this pack. And Chris V Dub, the man incredibly that drives with a hand controller, he is there in 5th. So unfortunately we've lost Simo, who returned to the pits for that penalty, so hopefully he's going to rejoin us. So here we go, down the main straight again. Now this is where last time round Chicken Paxo got a good run on Bazix. Can Bazix return the favourite? Chicken Paxo is doing some gentle weaving down the straight, trying to lose that toe off the Lamborghini behind him. And with these cars, which are all the same, this is what is so important, is just trying to find these little differences you can between the cars, because effectively they're the same, but the differences is things like slipstream and setup and lines into corners and so on. So here we go. So that's Bazix right on the back of Chicken Paxo there. Donardi just dropping off a little bit in the background. Oh, and it looks like we've lost another driver to the pit. Stevie Kung is in the pit, so I don't know if that's for repairs. It looks like he's moving slowly, so... Oh, and look, Bazix looks like he's gone a bit deep there at the last but one corner, but I think he's gathered it all up and kept it in front of Donardi. Yes, he has, but Donardi has come quite close. So here we go. Round to complete, lap 2. So 2 laps in the book, and the top 3 are still very close to each other. You can see Rusty GT and Chris V Dub in the background there. I think that was DB Kung just coming out of the pits. He was the driver that spun at the first complex. This corner here you can see on screen. I think he was recovering from damage from that. So through that first section of corners, it looks like Chicken Paxo has pulled out a little bit of a lead, and that will give him a bit of an advantage as we head down the Mistral Straight, because it will mean that Bazix behind him hasn't got quite the same level of slipstream, but who will have a level of slipstream in third is Donardi. So I'll tell you what we're going to do, let's shake things up a bit. We are going to ride on board, hopefully. There we go. We are on board here with Donardi in third place, hunting down Bazix in front of us, trying to get into that slipstream. Looks like at the moment not getting particularly close when we get to the end of the straight. Here we go, just down to fifth, just roughing the throttle as we go through here, taking as much curve on the outside as we go. Now here we go, down into fourth, and then probably into third, and then maybe even into second. Trying to take a wide entry here, we're actually taking it in third. And then again we've got another corner here with an immensely late apex. Starting wide, coming back in. And then look in front of us, and you can see Bazix right on the back of Chicken Paxo. Bazix looking possibly for the inside there. This is ebbing and flowing between these 3 drivers. This is incredibly tight. Let's go back to our outside cameras. Oh, and Bazix has spun just as we do that. So Bazix, just when we thought it was going to be a 3-way battle for the lead, he's spun out and he's dropped down to 6th. So I would imagine he's going to have maybe a little bit more pace than possibly Chris V Dub in front of him. Oh, we've lost somebody else who out. Rusty GT's had a problem as well. So Rusty GT has been overtaken by Chris V Dub. So that means Bazix only dropped down to 4th then. And it looks like possibly Chris V Dub's having a little bit of adventure there, but no, we're okay. So let's go. We're going to go on board, I think, with Bazix, because I think we're going to see a move as we go down the straight. So that's Chris V Dub's, what can I call it, army green Lamborghini in front. That's his standard racing colour. And just in front, the blue car in front, we can ignore that, because that's DB Kung, who is in fact a lap behind. So let's see whether Bazix can do anything on Chris V Dub, and it looks like we are just creeping a little bit closer. Chris V Dub, he put his car in the middle of the track. Which way can Bazix go? Bazix, we're going to the right, so here we go. Heading up towards the fast right-hander. And just there we go, we can see Chris V Dub on the outside there, trying to hang it on around the outside, but can't quite do it. Running a little bit wide there onto the outside of the track, but Bazix has got that move done. And oh, it looks like Chris V Dub's going a little bit wide then. Also looked like possibly Rusty was having a little bit of a moment there as well. So let's go back to our track side camera base. So did Rusty keep it going there? It appeared he didn't. That is Marge there in the black and plink, completely new colour there. Black and pink Lamborghini. He has just got by Rusty, so Marge is up to 5th, and unfortunately Rusty haven't had that good start. Oh no! And they come together there. That was Marge spinning, and then Rusty GT collided with the side of him. Rusty had nowhere to go. And now, does that mean Rusty's going to have to go? Sorry, that's Marge. They're going for the pits. So he's had to return to the pits. So that puts Rusty back up to 5th, but he is quite a way behind Chris V Dub. But then Chris V Dub is, as you can see on screen, not letting go of Bazix in the gold car in front of him. And DB Kung, it'll be interesting to see for races later on, DB Kung looks like he's on the pace of the others, even though he's a lap behind. So if he doesn't have a problem in the next race, that should work quite well. Just to remind you, this is a 20-minute race, so we are just about getting up to half race distance. So let's go back to our lead drivers, which is Donardi and Chicken Paxo. So Donardi still keeping Chicken Paxo very honest. Gaps down, showing 0.8 of a second, but that looks a lot less than 0.8 of a second to me. So let's go on board with Donardi. These two were teammates in the last season of
we are at the halfway mark, still a long way to go.
Well, it was in fact Bazix that came out on top, but these two drivers, particularly in the early season, were quite dominant in the Audi R8. Did a fantastic job. Worked occasionally, I think, a little bit together as a team, but this time it is definitely, I think the phrase is mano a mano. Donardi's not going to be giving anything away to Chicken Paxo tonight. So just to remind you, if you're watching this stream and you're not really involved in Race Club, why not? We've got our new season just about to start. We're cutting the season short. We're trying something a bit different. Historically, we've had usually sort of 10 or 12 races and drop the scores from 2. This time around, we're going to do 6 rounds and drop the score from 1. Now, the next question that you're asking me is, how do I get involved? And that's very simple. You go onto Facebook and you search Race Club UK and you'll find the page. Join the page, say you want to get involved, and I am sure the guys will be very helpful, and you can get yourself on the track this time next week, and you should have me chatting away over you as well. So not only do you get great exposure on YouTube, you get talked about by a average commentator, and if you do really well, you might even get a post-race interview. It now looks like Donardi, who we're on board with, is just sliding back a little bit from Chicken Paxo. Oh, we're looking a bit sideways there. We caught it. Yeah, well done, Donardi. The back end was trying to come round. That's the problem with these mid-engine cars. I personally prefer a front engine rear drive car. Problem with the weight with the engine in the back, it does give it a pendulum effect, but if you get it a little bit wrong, maybe change down gears a bit earlier, it just gives that back the encouragement maybe just to try and come round on you. Oh, and we're going really tight there. Oh, that was close, but we got away with it. So let's go back to our trackside cameras. So unfortunately we're down to 8 drivers at the moment. Let's just see what we are at in the chat. We may have some information. So here we go. Let's go back to the action, because we've got Donardi now giving Chicken Paxo a really hard time. So this is where he needs to get close, because he needs to be in that slipstream as we go down the main straight. And it looks like he may even get it done sooner. He's got a really nice tight line coming out of that right-hander, but can't quite get it done. But he is still very, very close. Within half a second it's showing on the screen, so I think it might even be closer than that. So here we go. So has Donardi in the grey Lambo there got a good exit. He's coming right under that rear wing of the red and yellow Lambo. God, he's been drinking. Of the red and yellow Lambo of Chicken Paxo in front of him. Chicken Paxo placing his car in the middle of the track, trying to make Donardi make the decision which way he has to go, but Donardi just can't get close enough down the straight. Maybe he's running a little bit more wing than what Chicken Paxo is, and that's how we saw Chicken Paxo get by Donardi or Bazix earlier, because maybe he's just running a bit less wing down the straight to give him a bit more speed, but of course that will make the car less stable in the corners. So here we're coming around to complete lap 6. Now, This is going to mean, with the time left, we're going to have 3 laps left at the end of this lap. So the options for Donardi are starting to slim down. Let's just take a risk and hop away from these drivers and see who's doing what a bit further back, because I can notice we have had a couple of little changes. So we've got Bazit's back up into third. He started on pole, dropped to second, and then had that spin, dropped to a fifth, and quickly got back up to fourth, and it's now with Chris Zub, who has, I noticed, dropped down to fifth. So he must have had a little bit of a moment somewhere, because he was running ahead of Rusty GT. So Rusty GT is up to fourth, and of course, just as I move away from the leaders, guarantee it, ladies and gentlemen, positions change. So Donardi, somewhere in that first section, has got by Chicken Paxo, but we believe Chicken Paxo is running slightly less wing, so he should have a bit more speed down the straight. Now, anybody who's been watching my Race Club commentary will know that that happens on a fairly regular basis, so we get position changes whenever we look away. I definitely think Chicken Paxo is running a lot less wing. He's up the inside at the end of the main straight. Has he got the move done? They're going side by side into the next right-hander. Chicken Paxo's got the high ground because he's on the inside. Donardi's going to have to try and go the long way round the outside. I think Chicken Paxo might have this one. No. Donardi's hanging on. He runs a bit wide across the curb, but now he's got the high ground up to the next left-hander. And it's a late apex, and he's got it back. So at the end of this lap, we're going to have 2 laps left. I'm not going to risk coming away from this lead battle again, because I did last time and we saw exactly what happened. So I am going to stick with these 2. I'm just going to risk having a quick look on our YouTube channel, see if we've got anything happening in the live chat. And let's have a look. We've got absolutely nothing happening in the live chat, so if you want to jump in and make a prediction, it would be great to hear from you. So here we go. These 2 are slugging it out for 2 more laps. So they are well clear of Bazix in third, who's 5 seconds up the road. So it's not really going to be a concern that by battling, because they're not taking the ideal line, they're probably not going as quick as they would if they were in clear air. So they shouldn't cause themselves to fall back into the clutches of anyone behind them. So this time round, Donardi has got a bigger gap on Chicken Paxo. Now, I will put that down in my semi-technical knowledge to the fact that Chicken Paxo can't get round the slower corners quick enough, because he's running less wing, whereas Donardi can get around it. And look, here we go again. Chicken Paxo going for the outside this time into the corner at the end of the straight, and he's already got the move done. He sweeps across the front of Donardi to take the lead, runs wide across the curbs there. Don't think that was enough to risk picking up a track limits penalty. So we're going to have just 1 lap remaining with this battle. This is going to go down to the wire. Donardi already looking to come back down the inside. We believe he's running a higher downforce setup, which is why round these twisty bits he is a little bit quicker. But Chicken Paxo's obviously gone for the zero wing option down the main straight, which is giving him the speed to get by the cars. Oh, and they're coming very close together there. It looked like Donardi was going to make a dive at the last corner there, but thought better of it. So here we go, completing lap 8 into lap 9. This is going to be the final lap of the race.
Now. Give it all you can.
Down to the first corner, Chicken Paxo taking the normal racing line, doesn't feel under threat. Bazit has closed up to less than 4 seconds behind these 2, but unless they have some kind of contretemps or excursion, I don't think Bazit is going to catch these 2. So this is the section where Donardi got by Chicken Paxo previously. I don't think he can do it if he waits until the straight, because I think Chicken Paxo has got that much more speed down the straight. So what can Donardi do? No, he's run a bit wide there. That's not the ideal line coming out onto the straight. And he's running wide again there. So the gap is extending between him and Chicken Paxo. So he might be able to pick up a little bit of slipstream, but I don't think he's close enough to launch an attack. I think that may be it. And the gap between them just doesn't seem to be closing down. Here we go, they're coming across the second timing marker. It's over a second now. Bazek's just 2.6 seconds behind Donardi in second, so I don't think that's likely to cause him a problem, apart from the fact that if he makes a little mistake, Bazek's will be on him. So yeah, I think that slightly untidy section, the first part of this last lap by Donardi, has what is denied him the chance at a win, because he is now closing up through the twisty bits on Chicken Paxo, but I think Chicken Paxo has enough of a buffer to get this one in the bag. So here we go, just coming round to the last corner. There we go, Chicken Paxo comes out the last corner, got a 1.1 second gap over Donardi, heads to the line, does a little bit of a victory swerve, so he's done a fantastic job there. Second is Donardi, and not far behind at all, despite having that little spin, is Bazek's. Now coming up is Rusty GT. Qualified well, he was on the second row and is finishing effectively on this second row of finishers. So great job there by Rusty GT. I think he's going to be one to watch in the next season of Race Club. And then we've got, oh, Chris V Dub, what's happened there? I was just about to say how well he was doing, and he's having a little bit of a scenic route there. Looks like on that section just after the end of the long straight, he's had a little bit of a moment. Looks like he's about to have another moment. I still, every week, commend how well that Chris V Dub does, despite the fact he is only using a hand controller. And in fact, those little moments he's had has actually put him behind Babber. I didn't realise that. And he's put him behind Banff, who pitted after that first lap incident. And then, so Chris V Dub comes through in 7th. So unfortunately it all slipped away from him a little bit at the end. And then finally coming through is DB Kung up to the finishing line. He had that moment on the first lap, so had to go to pits for repairs. So unfortunately his race was on the back foot from then. So we are going to go over to our race winner, who we spoke to earlier, and we're going to speak to again. Don't worry about the blue screen, I'm still here and I'm still chatting away, and I'm going to have a quick chat with Ben, who is Chicken Paxo. Are you there, Ben?
I'm knackered after that one. Have we got 2 more of these to do?
Well, you're the one that sets these races up, Ben, so you can't really blame anybody else, can you?
Oh,
so,
I can do. I'm a politician by trade.
Well, that was quite a race there between you and Donardi. Pity that Bazek's had that little bit of a spin early on, but that was a fantastic battle there. But you seem to have quite a lot of speed down the main straight there. Are you got a little bit of a secret you're running there?
Well, it's no DRS, if that's what you mean, and no, we aren't suddenly burning oil like a Ferrari, but, oh, you said that. No, I think I've just got a lower rear wing than everyone else, which I think tells in the corners they're catching me up, and then they can get past me, but then on the straight I can kind of sit there and wait and take advantage.
Okay, well, what happened? We didn't see, unfortunately. I was switching around looking at other drivers. What happened the first time that Donardi got by you? Because that looked like it happened through the first section of the circuit.
Yeah, I missed braking point slightly, clonked a couple of curbs, and Donardi, as quick as he is, was thank you very much. I'll have that first place. Yeah, he's a tricky customer to race against. But no, firm and fair, and hopefully you got some good shots of us. Side by side in quite a few corners.
It did. There was a great run there where you two were braving it out round the corners at the end of the Mistral straight, and yeah. I actually called it wrong because I thought Bazix was going to hang on. Sorry, I thought you were going to hang on to it because you had the inside line for the right-handers, and then Bazix hung on around the outside, which I can't recall. I can't ever recall being done before. And then,
no.
But he then had the inside for the left-hander. But I guess, do you think that was down to he was running more downforce?
I think so. They were able to get my slipstream but couldn't pull up behind me, so I'll take that. I'm quite happy to have a bit more straight line speed down there because it's a fairly long run down that way.
Yeah, I also imagine if any of your competitors are listening, I reckon they're all ripping their rear wings off now.
Quite possibly. I might put some on just to confuse them, but yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, I'll let you get on with qualifying for race 2, and thanks for talking to us.
Cheers, Trevor.
Great, and we're still with you here. So we'll tell you what, we're going to roll. We'll do the second race because I'm going to run out of voice tonight. Otherwise, I'm going to have to get another glass of water out there. So, but we would be grateful to hear from anybody who is watching us on YouTube at the moment because it has all gone a little bit quiet, which is unusual. Just having a quick look, and no, we've got no. No, we've got nobody in there at the moment. Let's have a look how many drivers we've got. Right, we've got 8 drivers. So I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to swap hats here. So what I'm going to do, we wanted to test the driver interview system, which obviously did work, and I'm going to wrap this stream up for you guys tonight. And I'm going to hop on and do a little bit of driving. So see if I can get in the way of these guys, which is what I do best. So please, if you want to get involved with Race Club, look up Race Club UK on Facebook, join the group, and you can get involved. Our new season of 6 races on a Tuesday night at 8:30 start next week, so that will be the 13th. So please, if you want to get involved, great bunch of guys to drive with. You can see the racing that we've had on screen tonight. It's been really tight and clean, so if that's what you want to do and get involved with, please look us up.